So we got to start off by thanking our many fans for joining us for our second episode. Hopefully we're going to have some interesting topics to talk about, keep you guys nice and engaged. And yeah, we're excited to be here. And yeah, that's about all I got. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes.
So last time we talked about how we came up with our couple name, the podcast name, how we got to where we're at. So I figured we would talk about how we met.
I mean, okay. We met at a restaurant that we were both working at.
Yeah.
I mean, how deep am I going?
I guess we can go as deep or as surface level as we want. It's our story. We get to pick and choose what we tell.
I mean, we were friends. We were hanging out for a bit. Then both were going through breakups at the same time.
Yeah.
Then we started partying.
We did a lot of that in the beginning stages before we were like really dating.
Yeah. I mean, we all went out together at one point.
Yeah.
Before our relationships ended, which is funny to think about now.
Yeah. But hey, it all worked out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we were working in a restaurant together. Mutual friend of ours kind of introduced us and started hanging. I feel like our introductory.
Yeah.
Or maybe even more.
How long were we working together before we were like
dating?
Together? Yeah.
Not that long actually. My 6-year anniversary for the restaurant's coming up. So maybe 6 to 8 months before I was working there.
Yeah. Okay. So it didn't
I was working at Bar Louie as well in the beginning.
How long did you work both jobs?
Just a couple of months. It became too much because of the late schedule.
And how long did we date before we decided to move in? Because I tried to get you to move in a lot earlier than you wanted to.
So we didn't move in together until probably like a year and a half into us dating.
Yeah.
Because we had only been together for like 5 or 6 months when my lease was up and your lease was coming up. And yeah.
Yeah, I was moving in with Nathan, and I wanted you...
Nathan's the brother, for those who don't know.
Move in with us.
Yes.
And you were opposed to the idea.
I was opposed to the idea because I also had 2 dogs and a cat and a bearded dragon, and you guys had a husky and a Saint Bernard.
Yeah.
So
been
a zoo, 100% a zoo.
Lots of animals.
Not to mention, Charlie's 8 pounds.
Yeah.
Caboose is a big girl. She's a sweet girl. She's a gentle giant, but she sits on him and it's done.
Yeah, that's true.
I always worry because Nugget's so little. But
I feel like Ghost is more of a problem than Caboose ever would have been.
Obviously now I know that, but I didn't know that at the time. That's just what I'm thinking. Like, worried about the cat being stressed out by 2 new dogs, worried about the little dog with 2 big dogs, and Charlie also doesn't understand he's so little, so that doesn't really help any situation.
This is true. This is true.
He thinks he's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's got little man syndrome.
And then, so a year and a half into our relationship, and we moved in together.
Yeah.
And we've been living together ever since.
Yeah.
Got 3 dogs and a cat.
So this is our second house that we've lived in together. We've been here for most of the time.
This is our 3rd year in this house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, will be our 3rd year in this house.
Yeah, which we still have to do that.
Yeah, well, I still can't get into my resident portal.
I know. I emailed them.
Well, it doesn't seem like they've been working on a solution for me.
Well, maybe they will soon.
Yeah, hopefully. So we're going to go ahead and jump into Relationship Corner again, nice and early into the episode.
Okay.
We'll get down to the important stuff here.
Okay.
So here's what I got for this week.
Hit me.
So this is kind of a multi-part question. So I'm going to go through the whole thing. So is age just a number? Is there an age gap that would ruin a relationship or deter it completely? Or is that not, is that a non-factor?
Is that both questions?
Yeah, and then I want to touch on our age gap and the challenges that it's presented.
Tell everybody I'm a cougar.
No, you're
Anyway,
not.
okay, so I mean, I do think age is just a number for a lot of situations. I mean, I meet people who are older than me who act immature,
Yeah.
like they never left high school. Then I meet people who are younger than me who, you know, have themselves together or just seem more structured and are more mature. So I definitely think it's a mindset, how you were raised, your environment, the things that you're around, who you surround yourself around.
Yeah.
I feel like all of that kind of makes a difference in that, like in like the individual in the age gap. I don't know if there's necessarily, I mean, I'm not really one to say what too big of an age gap would be, because I mean, I don't have any friends currently that I feel like their age gap is detrimental to their relationship.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some age gaps within the relationships that are close to us.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that they necessarily affect their relationship in a negative way. There's definitely the maturity level that you want to consider when you're looking for a partner, and I wouldn't necessarily say that age
Dictates that.
necessarily dictates that maturity level. Some people are further along in their maturity level, and I think in a lot of situations women are further along in their maturity level than men are.
Oh yeah.
And it's not always the case. I would say in my situation, I wouldn't say that my maturity level is less than of a woman of a similar age.
Correct. I would say so.
So in that sense, I would say age is just a number. But I would say in some situations, depending on that person's intentions, you know, if it's a younger girl going after an older guy or vice versa, where they're just in it for the life that they can provide, the luxury of having money and things of that nature, then yeah, that could be detrimental to a relationship for sure.
Yeah.
And if there is a massive age gap where you don't have any common ground, you can't relate on anything, then that can also be detrimental as well.
That's true. I mean, we may be opposite, but we do have a lot of common ground.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So we can touch on our age gap.
Well, I will be 31 in 2 weeks, about a week and a half.
Yeah. And I turned 26 in August.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that that was super recent, but
No.
still
Got some time before you turn 27.
my mid-20s. Living
Early
life,
30s.
enjoying it.
Oh, yeah, I can't believe I'm turning 31. It happened really fast. It's funny because my mom used to say, like, once you turn 18, all the years are going to fly. Once you turn 21, all the years are going to fly.
I can 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Time flies. I don't necessarily feel like I'm 26.
I feel like I'm 31.
Not that that's old in any regard.
No,
I would say it's
my
young, but
bones ache from my job. But that's just because of wear and tear, you know?
yeah, I feel like my body's about 40, but
Yeah.
still young in spirit.
Yeah. I mean, we take care of ourselves.
And I commonly get the, are you old enough to be working back there, when I'm behind the bar bartending? And when I first started bartending, I was 21 or 22. And when you're younger, you kind of, you want, especially as a guy, you want to be seen as older. And it's almost like, it was hurtful to me when I was younger. People thought I was so young. It hurt my feelings. It really did.
Oh, honey.
But the older that I got, the more often I get it every single day. There's not a day where somebody doesn't mention something about my looks and being young. It doesn't affect me the same way.
Now,
Take it as a compliment, yeah.
that's funny. I don't think I've ever cared when anybody thought I was young. I mean, I still get ID'd.
Well, I feel like it's different for women than it is for men.
ID'd buying a scratch off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's flattering.
Yeah, I went
But
in.
what, 18 you have to be to buy a scratch off?
They changed the laws on tobacco, and I don't know. I want to say that you still just have to be 18 for the lottery, and you have to be 21 for tobacco products now. And
Yeah.
I went to, I want to say like a Shell gas station on Hunter's birthday to get those Zyn pouches.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy ID'd me, and I handed him my ID, and he was like shocked that I was 26.
Because you have the 1 on your ID, and it's always surprising.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
A 90s baby.
Yeah.
But I also grew up with an older brother.
So I think that kept you more
It kept me
in tune with the 90s than most people your age.
The things that he was into when he's growing up, he's watching Power Rangers, and you know, we got a PlayStation 1 and a GameCube and a Game Boy Color. So when all those things were coming out, I was that little brother that was like, I want everything that my older brother's getting. So obviously that sucked for him, but it was awesome for me. So I kind of grew up like I was doing everything that kids a couple years older than me were doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I think about that.
Yeah.
That's how you remember some of the things that I remember.
Yeah.
Even though it was a different timeline.
Yeah, so I watched shows that were, you know, probably a couple years ahead of my time.
Yeah.
Especially like in the anime world.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because in 2002, Cartoon Network came out with Toonami, which is where they showed like Dragon Ball Z and Yu Yu Hakusho and all these like animes that were coming over from Japan. So when I'm like 6 years old, I'm watching these anime shows that kids who are like 10, 11, 12 are watching. So I feel like in that aspect, I was more attracted to the older shows than I was like the new stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
So on the topic of TV shows, I wanted to talk about Reacher season 2.
I knew you were going to talk about that.
The season finale came out the other day. We watched it. We very much enjoyed the second season. I would say I enjoyed the second season more than I did the first season.
I feel like the second season made us like love the characters more. Like we got more backstory. We got more of like what they're doing now with their lives, like before they come and, you know, do the whole mission.
Yeah, lots of character development, lots of flashbacks. So they kind of pull at your heartstrings a little bit, especially when characters start dropping off and things start happening and it gets a little intense. You just feel more into the show.
Yeah. You're invested.
Yeah.
And that's why I am so emotional when I watch my shows, because I am invested in my characters.
Yeah. So tell me, I know you felt differently about the end, the last episode, the last couple minutes. Spoilers coming. When Reacher gets on the bus and drives away to some unknown place.
I'm pissed.
They have all this money. They end up getting $65 million, and they deem Reacher to kind of divvy it up amongst who he wants to give it to, and he's giving it to the families of the people who died, and a couple of the people that are still living, he kind of divvies it up amongst their kids, and then one gets like a business thing, and he just buys a 1-year pass on the bus. So he can pretty much go anywhere that he wants, but you weren't happy with that ending.
I wasn't happy with the ending because I wanted him to be with O'Donnell.
Yeah, but that's not Reacher's style.
Yeah, well,
that's not who he is.
He also didn't pursue her for the longest time, so it's like, why pursue her on this last mission if you're not gonna like be with her for the ever? You guys are like belong together. They belong together, and that's why I was so upset.
No. They wrap that up. They basically say that this was old business that should have been taken care of.
Them having
before
sex
that time. Yeah.
Sexual tension.
Them having some form of relationship.
It was hardly a relationship.
Because apparently there was sexual tension in the past.
Well, yeah, but he was her boss.
Exactly.
And that's why he didn't want to cross that line.
And he didn't.
I know he didn't.
And then he was allowed to because he was no longer her boss.
Oh, no.
They wrap it up.
But he should have stayed with her. She is perfect for him.
Yeah, but this opens anything up for the show to continue for a season 3. Jack Reacher's based off of books by, I want to say Tom Clancy.
I don't know.
That could be totally wrong. But yeah, it's based off books. So I'm sure there's plenty more books, more stories to tell, more for him to do.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope she comes back.
Yeah, it's an awesome show.
Yeah,
really entertaining. Keeps you engaged.
Yeah, and he's a beast.
Yeah.
He is just...
Rickson.
Whatever his name is. He is built like a brick.
The first time I saw him in something was Blue Mountain State. Have you ever watched that?
Mm-mm.
Blue Mountain State is...
And he's that big in that too?
Oh, he's huge. But he's Thad Castle, and he's a goofy character.
Oh, that's funny.
He's a great actor. Like, the range on that, they're complete opposites.
That's what I was going to say. I wouldn't see him as doing something like that.
Yeah. That's actually a really fun show to watch. I've watched it a couple times.
I'll look into it.
I don't know if it's your style of show.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So, since we're on the topic of TV, we'll just stay on this. We just watched the show American Nightmare, the limited series documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
Absolute banger.
Yeah, that was really intense.
Yeah, okay.
You just don't expect it to go the way that it goes. It's
definitely a twist and a turns type documentary. Obviously, if you know the story from real life, you'll know what happened to it, but there's a movie Gone Girl that they connect this abduction to, and they're framing people who don't necessarily need to be framed, and some bad policing work goes on, but it's very entertaining. They take some nice twists and turns, and it's a 3-episode series, so they get it done nice and quick, but it's entertaining, keeps you on your toes for sure.
Yeah, you just never can expect what's coming next, which I like shows like that. I hate when I can like sit here and like predict what's happening. I'm like, okay, and I like lose interest in it, and I don't want to. There's been so many series of shows that I've started, and it gets way too predictable, and I'm like, okay, I don't care because I already know how it's gonna end.
Same thing over and over.
And I like that. I mean, obviously, it was like documentary style, so it was like different, but
yeah,
just not. You couldn't expect anything that was coming.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So, you've been getting vitamins in instead of taking medication for your ADHD. I wanted to get your opinion on that. See how you're feeling on those.
I mean, they help.
Yeah.
Like, I can definitely tell a difference on days when I don't take my vitamins versus when I do take them. But
explain it a little bit.
What do you mean?
Like, so there's different compounds that you're taking. One's for like
focus. there's different blends that you can you like take this like quiz basically, and you fill out like what you want to improve on.
Okay.
So the ones that I chose was clarity, motivation, energy, and creativity.
Okay.
Obviously all for self-explanatory reasons on why I chose those blends. I think motivation might be my favorite blend, which like the main vitamin in it is like ashwagandha, I'm pretty sure.
So what is the process of this? So I know you got like your original shipment in of these different packs.
Well, I guess I misunderstood. I thought that when I got my first pack that it was going to be like a trial, so I figure out which one I like the most, which I can alter my subscription to get the same package 4 times. If I want all clarity, if I want all motivation, I can alter that. Okay. But they've been sending me like a variety of the vitamins, and I feel like I kind of like that though, because it gives me like they do different things for me.
Okay.
But the way they intended it to work is you select which one you want to do. Say I want to do creativity. You do that for 6 days. Mm-hmm. Then there's 6 prepackaged, vitamins in these like little bags pretty much.
Yeah.
And you take them for 6 days. And then day 7, you're supposed to not take anything. Okay. And then, next week you start the next pack, whether it be motivation or whatever you do, and you repeat the process. And then they also have like an online like portal type of thing that you can log into to like report on how things are affecting you or how they make you feel. Okay. Like with the different blends basically, to see like if you like one better than the other. Like I said, you can alter your subscription to get them in a different way. But yeah, 6 days on, 1 day off. But I kind of, after like doing it the first month, I kind of just do it the way that I want to do it, which I don't think it necessarily really affects it. I usually do my day off of the vitamins on my day off from work. Okay. So obviously one of my days off is going to be me taking my vitamins because there's 6 days of it. And usually the way my week works is I work 5 days. One day I have obligations of things that I have to do, chores, shopping, whatever. Obviously we do them together.
Right.
And then the other day will usually be my like chill day.
Okay. So that's your day off of your vitamins.
Right. Because sometimes I just want I can't turn this off. The constant like thoughts of things that need to be done and the lists that are never ending in my head and the organizational projects that I like start and can't finish because I start one thing and then I start another thing and then I start another thing. I mean, we live together,
Yeah,
you know how it is. It's hard. Like I don't ever feel like I can just relax because my brain can't shut off. It goes and goes and goes and goes. Like it could be 2:00 in the morning and I can be laying in bed and I'm like thinking of things that I need to do tomorrow or the things I should have done today, or like these things keep me awake. And it's not like I'm not productive with my days. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I do get task paralysis. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, but I think it's obviously, I think it's different for me than it is for you.
Yeah. Like for me, how I was explaining, I have all these like consistent thoughts in my head and I go through the steps of every single thing that needs to be done all the time. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, I forgot where I was going with this.
Talking about your task paralysis.
Oh yeah. So when these like lists compile in my head, I know that I have 19 projects to get done and I know that I need to go fold the laundry and let the dogs, well I guess that's not really like, that doesn't really count, like tasks, like really more things like cleaning and organization. Yeah, things I need to get done. I'm going like I can build up that list so high in my head that like it defeats me to the point that like I get this task paralysis where I am like wallowing in all my sorrows because I have all these things I need to do and I cannot pick myself up to do them. Like a small example is showering. Every time I tell you that I have to like, if washing my hair is a part of my shower, which shaving is always a part of my shower. That takes me forever all the time. It is what it is. Like, it's just something I have accepted. Mm-hmm. The washing of my hair, I don't have to wash my hair every time I shower. And I guess now that it's winter, I don't really have to shave every time I shower either because I'm not wearing shorts. But side note for another conversation. Before I can go into the shower, before I can just take a simple task, before I try to take a simple task, my brain breaks that shower down into 100 different steps. 100 being, an exaggeration, but I'm thinking I have to get up and go into the bathroom. I have to take my clothes off, take my jewelry off, take my makeup off before I get into the shower. And then when I get in the shower, I have to wash my body. I have to shave my legs.
So is it that like that is overwhelming that you don't want to do the task?
All of the tasks building up is what makes it overwhelming for me. Because it's not just a matter of I need to go take a shower. It's a matter of I need to complete 20 things while I'm in that shower. And while I'm in the shower, don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm dreading those steps. It's just putting myself in the mindset to actually put myself in the shower. Once I get myself to do whatever task it is that I was pushing it off, I'm fine doing it. It's getting to the point of starting it. You know what I mean? Like, pushing myself to like actually take the initiative to do what needs to be done. And like I said, showering is a small step. It's like it's a smaller of my battles for sure. Like the kitchen, how I just had to destroy the kitchen in order to like refix the kitchen. Everything that I let pile up, like all of like the mail and things. And like when I say pile up, it's not like we live, it was just mail and stupid things of that nature, pens and whatever, stupid things that like it became a task paralysis for me because I saw all the individual things that needed to be put away, like the bottle openers, the pens, the mail that needed to be sorted through, the receipts that needed to be scanned and thrown away, because yes, I do scan all the receipts before throwing them away.
I always keep them.
I know, that's why they're there. But that's what I'm saying. Like that is a perfect example of how in my head I saw that there was like mail and things piling up. I saw that there were things that needed to be put away. Like my craft supplies is a big one. I always have craft supplies out because I'm always doing something crafty. But then they build up and build up and build up to the point that I'm like overwhelmed with the idea of having to deal with that task until I explode. Yeah. Which I came home and I exploded. Like not on you or on anyone.
Exploded on getting it done.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does look great.
We
have a usable counter now.
Yeah. We have like 3 usable counters now. Like, because we had those two corners.
Because it's almost...
It's like a
to
U
describe
shape.
It's like a horseshoe shape almost.
It's kind of like L for counter space shape. You know what I mean? But our kitchen is like U-shaped.
So off of the task paralysis portion of the ADHD, so we hit on the vitamins. You're enjoying them. Probably not quite as effective as something like Adderall, but they don't affect your mental state the same way that Adderall does.
Well, Adderall affected so much more than my mental state because it kind of gave me the opposite effect in the fact of like my task paralysis wasn't bad. It was the starting of so many things because my brain was going 100 miles a minute all the time.
Yeah.
And then the insomnia, I wasn't able to stay. I'm better now about sleeping. Like, I'm still tossing and turning. I think that's more my back pain than anything else.
You seem like you slept pretty good last night.
I think I did sleep good last night. I have to keep moving until I find what's like comfortable. And because my back felt so pinched last night, I couldn't, like, there was nothing I could do. And then once I finally got my sweet spot, which was like me putting my whole body onto that body pillow and like barely putting any weight on this side, I finally it was not pinching
some of the pressure.
Yeah, it was so weird because the pain was on one side, and then by the end of my shift it was on the other side. And then when I took a shower, I took a hot shower obviously to try to like loosen everything up, and it made it so much worse. But the Adderall gave me really bad insomnia, anxiety. I had really bad anxiety. And it wasn't instantly. Like, it probably took like a year and a half before I started having other side effects of it, besides the like hyper productivity. Besides that being the initial effect, all those other things did take a while to kick in. But my moods were up and down. Then it went from being up and down, which is when I started realizing that I was having an issue with it, to it being like me being very frustrated all the time and me being angry. And I know a lot of it had to do with like what I had going on in my life at the time, but in the same sense, it was like I couldn't control who I was, and I didn't like that. Like, I didn't feel like myself anymore. I didn't feel like the Sapphire that like I knew. And other people noticed it too. I mean, I was ready to rip everybody's heads off, but I did have, other things going on. I think the Adderall was just contributing.
Would you say that you feel happier now not taking the Adderall?
I feel like I feel like I do, but I feel like what also makes me realize how much happier I am is like other people's reaction to it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, other people can affect you whether you want it to or not. That's
no. Meaning them like bringing to my attention that like I seem happier or I seem less frustrated or...
Well, yeah, no, that's what I mean. They're comments. They're what they're saying about you affects you.
Yeah.
It does, whether we want it to or not.
I mean, yeah, I was called mean for a few months. And I mean, I can be mean when it's deserved. And don't get me wrong, I was in a lot of irritating situations in the restaurant. And
I just think it's the way that it comes off sometimes.
I
don't think you're intentionally being mean. It's just the way things are being said.
I grew up with my parents always saying like not to sugarcoat things. It was always something they said growing up. So with me growing up. So I think that like stuck with me, that like I don't have to sugarcoat it. I can just be
I'm the opposite.
Me. I know you want to lather that shit.
Everything.
I know, but that's why we work, babe.
I don't like hurting people's feelings.
I don't hurt people's feelings. I mean, maybe I do by how it comes out, but that's not how I'm intending it.
In my head, I would rather be frustrated myself than make somebody else feel bad about something, whether they're not doing something correctly or...
I'm more so referring to like when people ask my opinion on something. I'm not just going to go up to a person and be like, I don't like that shirt you're wearing. Like, I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah.
When people come to me for, when they want to ask me like, how do you feel, or how would you feel about this? Or what do you think about the situation? Or what, what would you do in this situation? Then I'm not sugarcoating it. You came to me for my honest answer, and I'm telling you that.
Yeah. And maybe that's how you feel, but I kind of take a more like laid back look at it. Say somebody's asking my opinion on a situation between their relationships. I'm always like, the first advice I'm gonna give them is give that person the benefit of the doubt and try and see it from their point of view, But I mean, if somebody's in the wrong, then somebody's in the wrong. It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm not saying that my honesty is always negative towards people. I mean, sometimes it's what they need to hear. Like, yes, I would be just as frustrated in that situation, or I probably would have handled it a little bit differently. Like, that's exactly, that's a perfect example. Like, if I'm trying to explain to somebody like how I would have handled the situation, that's not how I would have handled it. This is how I would have handled it, and give them my side of it. You know what I mean? I'd, like, not trying to tell them like, this is what you should be doing, this is what you should say, this is how you should respond.
Yeah, usually I just tell people to forgive the other person.
Yeah, I know you do.
Usually,
but all things, not that
on.
all things aren't forgivable, but there are circumstances that, like, I don't know, to know when it's not okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's situations where like people have gone too far or they have clearly done something wrong. But if it's just a disagreement about something, then it's not even worth the time arguing.
Well, that's right. That goes back to episode 1 when we're talking about picking and choosing your battles. That's not a battle to fight.
It's just not.
And I mean, that is something that I always tell my friends, like when they come to me, especially about relationship things. I'm like, is this worth fighting for?
Most of the time it's not.
Is this worth not talking to each other for the rest of the day? Is this worth, blowing things out of proportion for something that's really not that necessary? And I mean, to some people, what is the phrase? It might be an anthill.
Don't make a molehill out.
Don't make a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's the perfect way to think about it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
And I feel like that should be taken in all situations, friendships as well.
Yeah.
My friends don't ask me if they don't want me to be honest.
Yeah, well, I think they've learned that over the years is if they don't... Well, I think a lot of the times when you're asking your friend's opinion, you basically just want to confirm that what you're doing is correct, but you're not going to give them the satisfaction of that. I will, but
if they're not correct, I'm not telling them they're correct.
Well, my thing is, like, if somebody wants to, like, do something, or they're like, do you think I should do this? I'm like, if that's what you want to do, then 100% go for it.
Yeah, but baby, sometimes
even if
people
it's something stupid.
Okay, no. You can't let your friends go out and do stupid things.
Well, this brings
What are friends for if you're not going to tell them when they're being stupid? Or selfish, or rude, or, any of that. That's what friends are for.
That's not really where I'm coming from.
Where you come from?
My friends don't do things that are, like, stupid, but, like, for example, Hunter buys a motorcycle. Mike wants to buy a motorcycle. I'm like, go for it. If that's what you want to do, if that's going to make you happy, then go buy a motorcycle.
That was a terrible example because motorcycles are dangerous in Florida.
And why can't I have one?
Because motorcycles are dangerous in Florida.
I know. But they're fun.
Yeah. Is fun worth losing your life for?
That is way too broad.
Do you want me to show you the picture of my mom's friend?
I saw it already.
Yeah, well, that's terrible.
Honey, I have a forever scar on my knee.
Right, so why would you want to carry more of them?
I'm not saying... Here's the thing. Think about something that makes you feel just genuinely happy.
Sweetheart.
Like, just so happy that nothing else in the world could ruin your day. It's a feeling of euphoria and excitement. There's just a lot of feelings when you ride a motorcycle. It's just a very freeing feeling. And I'm not going to get one, but I'm just saying.
You can feel as free as you want to be doing whatever the hell you want to do, but it ain't going to be on a motorcycle. Honey, my dad...
I know.
If I was ignorant to, like, the dangers of a motorcycle, do you think I would care? No, I'd be like, go ahead, go live, go do what you want to do. Or if I didn't care about you, go ahead, go buy it, go do what you want to do. My dad's the same thing. No, you are not getting another motorcycle. You have already had 2.
Yeah. And I want a third one.
Yeah, well, honey.
I do this thing to myself where I go online and I start watching YouTube videos on motorcycles. I go on Facebook Marketplace and I start looking at them for sale, and I get myself almost like hyped up, even though I know I'm not going to buy one.
Yeah, I do that with the housing market.
Yeah, well, this is a little different. A motorcycle is achievable. I could go buy one right now.
Housing is achievable as well. It's just not achievable at the moment for us.
It's just, yeah. I mean, I guess housing is achievable, but there's just, buying a house stresses me out. All the things that come with home ownership and all the little things that they add on there. Like, I saw a TikTok video the other day of a guy that lives in Florida and his mortgage went from $2,200 to $3,500 in 1 year.
How does that happen? Because of his insurance?
Insurance, taxes, property appraisal. That one of our cameras overheated there. Hopefully it'll last till the end of the podcast. But yeah, we were talking about houses and mortgages and all the things that stress me out. But anyways, motorcycles and houses aside, I want to talk about our favorite foods.
Well, my favorite foods are very different than your favorite foods.
Yeah, what do you got?
I think our mutual favorite food would probably be tacos, but like not like tacos at home tacos.
Yeah.
Yes, those kind of tacos.
I do enjoy our taco nights, which are very often.
Yes, probably once a week.
Once a week, and I could probably do it twice a week.
Honestly, I probably could too if we did like bowls or something instead of tacos. But anyway,
yeah.
I am a pasta gal. Mac and cheese, lasagna, Alfredo, even though I'm lactose intolerant.
Yeah, lots of pasta dishes have lots of cheese in them.
Yes.
Cream and things like that.
Yeah, but I love all of it, and I love pasta. I just love noodles in general.
Yeah.
I'm big on sandwiches. I like sandwiches.
If you had to pick top 3 foods, like meals, top 3 meals, what would you have?
That's hard. Lasagna's got to be in there, honestly. Ooh, no. Top tier, A1, number 1, snow crabs.
Okay, snow crabs is number 1. What's number 2?
Ooh. I'd say, I guess lasagna.
Okay, so snow crabs, lasagna. What takes number 3?
Barbecue chicken pizza.
Barbecue chicken. Okay, all right. I hear you. I would say my number 1 is probably chicken enchiladas. It doesn't matter what kind of sauce is on them. I like red sauce, green sauce, sour cream sauce. I like all of it. Chicken enchiladas is probably number 1. It's got to be rice and refried beans on the side. Delicious. Number 2, I would say, is probably teriyaki chicken.
I do like some teriyaki
rice
chicken.
And vegetables. Heavy rice guy.
You are a heavy rice guy.
And then I would say number 3, so we got enchiladas, teriyaki chicken. Number 3 is probably steak. A good steak, probably a ribeye. I'll eat pretty much any steak, but ribeye is like my top. Nice fatty cut with a nice loaded baked potato. I could live off those 3 meals for the rest of my life.
Yeah. What did I say my third meal was?
And barbecue chicken pizza.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick to that.
Yeah.
I wanted to put tacos in there somewhere, but
I wish that good cuts of steak were a little bit more affordable, because then I would cook steak at home more often, but it's just cheaper for us to
buy
get
steak
food.
out.
Well, not even buy steak like when we go out, but just from work. It's just cheaper. We get our employee discount, and the steak's good there. So
Yep.
There's no reason to buy it at the store for twice the price and then spend the time cooking it and it not being quite as good.
Filet all day, baby.
Yeah, I know you're a filet girl. I like me a nice fatty ribeye, and you're the opposite.
I want a filet and snow crabs.
filleted snow crabs. That sounds like a good meal.
That sounds like deliciousness.
Yeah. Maybe I'll learn how to make snow crabs.
I can make snow crabs. I know how.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't boil like the potatoes and all that stuff in there because I know you're not a fan of that.
I'm not a big fan when the entire
Everything
meal tastes the same.
I know.
I need a little bit of variety.
We learned that one the hard way.
I guess that's not true because we've been doing this thing recently where I cook teriyaki chicken or like teriyaki steak and then put it over rice and vegetables and it all kind of like commingles together, gets the sauce on it. I'm okay with that, but I'm not big on soup and I'm not big on like stews.
Fair. I like beef stew.
I'm okay with beef stew, but it's almost like I want that as a side item. I don't want that as my entire meal. Like I'll have some stew as an appetizer or as like a side, and then I also have other things going on.
I want some good bread, a big old bowl of beef stew, dip my bread in the stew.
Yeah, that's just a no for me.
It looks so much like later outside than it is.
I mean, it's getting later, and it's probably a little overcast right now. Yeah. The weather's been a little funky. So I know you just got some crystals in. Where did you buy those from?
I actually was just thinking about that. I think I got them on Etsy. I ordered them through Etsy. I had to find like a wholesaler, basically, is what I was trying to find. Which all the crystals that I got from them were absolutely gorgeous. I need to go back to their website and order some more. But yeah, that was Etsy.
Okay. Have you ever bought crystals on like the TikTok shop?
I actually was just recently looking at that, trying to find some, but it's less wholesaler price and more like retail.
Okay, so it's probably more like individuals selling it, not like a big company selling it.
But from what I've found,
I would think on Etsy, it's more individual than it would be big company, right?
I don't know. This one, I'm pretty sure it was based out of California. I'm not 100% sure. I ripped the package open because I was so excited because I knew what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't even look where the name came from, and then I tried to go back and I had already ripped through it. So
I keep getting these TikTok shop videos popping up on my feed that are car air fresheners. They look kind of like the one that you have in your car. Did you get that on the TikTok shop?
I did.
Okay, so maybe it's the same like seller.
It's
the same couple guys making these videos, and they're all excited to get these car air fresheners in.
Well, they are delightful. You've been in my car. It smells delightful in there.
Yeah, it smells good in there. I don't know. Maybe I don't care enough.
It was like $8, and it's beautiful. I mean, for one. But it's like a jar, and it has like a bamboo top, so you like flip them. But my only issue with it is that I like to hang it on my rear view.
Okay.
And then when I go put my sun visor up, I'm constantly hitting it into the glass, and it is glass hitting on my glass, which is just very stressful.
It's that same scenario where when I first got my car, when I would take my seatbelt off, I would kind of just like throw it to the side and it would smack the window, and every time I thought I was going to break the window.
Yep.
But I guess they're stronger than that. Another thing I keep getting on my TikTok feed is a window breaking like tool to keep in your car. And the other day I saw a video where they drive a car into like a big thing of water and like have it sink into there, and the guy stays in the car and uses the little tool that they sell on the TikTok shop for window breaking. Yeah. Like under the water. And they use pretty much like everything in the car to try and break the window. And then they're like, nothing works. This works. Maybe it's true. That
thing on the windowsill in our bedroom.
They use one of those.
That's what it is. It has the breaker on the end.
No, I'm saying they use one of those and it doesn't work.
Oh, what do they use instead?
They use so you know how a pinball machine has that little thing that you pull back and has like a spring and it shoots the ball off? It's almost like a mini one of those where you like pull the mechanism back and it shatters the window.
That's smarter though.
And it works underwater too.
Because you're trying to break something into all that pressure, and that would make more sense to,
Well, especially if you're underwater and you're trying to like break the window, your arm's not moving as fast as you want it to.
Very true.
It's more friction, more pushing against you. But yeah, I've bought some stuff off Temu. And not that I haven't been like happy with what I've got. I pretty much expected what I've gotten, like phone cases. I got like some soundproofing tiles. I got lavalier microphones. I got stickers, air fresheners. I bought a couple like Christmas gifts off there. Everything is kind of what I expected, but I expected like really low tier, low quality products, and that's pretty much what I got. Everything I bought was super cheap, so I wasn't expecting it to be nice. But what I will say is that a lot of the stuff that you can find on Temu is also sold on Amazon for a crazy markup.
Yeah.
Like the acoustic sound panels that I got for the room, the exact same ones are sold on Amazon for 3 times the price.
That's how people make their money.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you're a seller, somebody like me or you goes and buys a bunch of stuff from a Chinese factory, probably for a very similar cost to what they sell it on Temu for, then Amazon takes a 30-year cut on there, so you have to make some profit, and then you have to advertise it and stuff. So
yeah, I try to buy crystals off of there.
On Temu? How'd that go?
They were fine. Like the quality of the crystals were fine. But they were what is considered like a tumbled stone. So they're more like cylindrical, I guess. I guess cylindrical is not the right word. They're more round.
Okay.
Because they're tumbled. So, you know what I mean? They're not like perfect circles. They're like have their own shapes to them, but like I needed more like flatness to them. Like this guy, how he's like flat in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not flat in the front, but it's pretty flat and thin compared to like what the other ones look like.
For our millions of audio listeners, Sapphire is holding up one of her many wrapped crystals that she has attached to a necklace.
Yes.
And it's kind of like an oval shape with a flat front and back.
It's called a cabochon, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's I think that's just referring to it being flat in the back. I'm not really 100% sure, but I just like the thinner, flatter crystals to wire wrap with. They're easier to deal with.
Well, specifically like with the designs that you're doing now.
Right,
Those
yeah.
are kind of what you need.
It's because I'm learning weaving. I'm learning how to wire weave. So it's more like intricate, I guess you could say, and just more detail oriented. So it's easier to wrap said details around something flat,
right,
than something not, I guess.
I gotcha. Well, with all this food talk, it is making me awfully hungry. My stomach is a rumbling. So I think this is a good place to end the episode. Thank you everyone who watched the first episode and today's episode. We love you guys. Thanks for the support, and we will see you guys next time.
Until then, honey.
Adios.